Yo, this is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13, and I am so excited to talk to you about this headlight set that I just completed today. This is for Preston's 2016 Cadillac ATS Spec-V. Now, this is my third ATS headlight that I have gotten to make, and this was my first Spec-V one, and I was shocked and surprised at the amount of differences internally between the Spec-V and the base model. So I'm going to go over some of the differences of the two trim levels while going over the modifications that I did on this one. Preston was super amazing and had ideas as to what he wanted, but ultimately he handed over the build to me and said that I was free to do whatever I wanted, although of course I did discuss it with him. I even drew up a really fancy high quality visualization. So primarily this is an aesthetics modification build. Originally there was a lot of chrome in these housings, and what I did was I blacked out the reflector bowl down there for the turn signal. This section right here was already black. This top section was chrome and black, and now it is a Hydrodip of carbon fiber, which came out looking super fantastic because apparently he has carbon fiber accents he wanted to incorporate if possible, and so I definitely did. Also pulled that OEM white into these housings. This is GM's Abalone white, and it is a tri-stage paint. So there's a base coat, a mid coat, and then a clear coat, which gives it a real nice, beautiful deep pearl. As you can see, everything there that was originally chrome got painted white, and also that little chrome bezel around the projector got painted a nice accent white. So we're rocking the tuxedo look on this headlight. First major difference of the Spec-V is that it comes with a huge DRL light that goes right along there. As you can see, there is a diffuser plastic that goes in there that's ridged and ribbed for my pleasure and enjoyment. But what it really is to diffuse the light, because there's this big heat sink right here for an LED that fires up into it and then it shoots all the way out there. So that has been disabled, and instead you can see that there is a switchback LED strip. That's what that little line is down in the middle. That's from Profile, and it is so much brighter than the original setup, and like I said, it is switchback, so it blinks amber with the turn signal. The other major difference of the Spec-V headlights is that they are a HID system. It originally ran these Osram D3S bulbs, and these bulbs are a bulb and igniter all in one assembly. I have since upgraded all of this, and we're now running aftermarket 50-watt ballast running off of a D2S bulb that is mounted in there. For the record, a D2S bulb will not just drop into place, so the housing had to be slightly modified to take that bulb type, and then a specialty bracket had to be fabricated in order to hold that bulb in place. Because as you can see here, the bracket that held in this big bulky D3S bulb was not transferable and would not work. And the third difference of the Spec-V trim level is that it has AFS, meaning that those projectors are mounted on an assembly and it changes direction with turning of the vehicle. Another difference is that the Spec-V has a 2.5-inch projector, whereas the full-size 3-inch projector is used for the base level. But what that does mean is that retrofitting this is significantly more challenging and requires either a specialty bracket or a lot of hard work and determination. And that specialty bracket is not available anywhere on the internet for quantities less than 20. And since I wasn't gonna stock up on those bad boys, we decided to surpass the retrofit for this, and we're running the factory projectors with AFS and just that high performance HID package, upgrading its output. Also for the turn signal bulbs, we're running the GTR Lighting Carbide 2 LED replacement bulbs, and those are resistorless, so no resistors will be necessary in order to prevent hyperflash. Now, these headlights are not going to be plug and play for the end user installation. The ballast will need to be spliced into the low beam positive and ground, and also the LED drivers down here for the switchback strips will need to be tapped into a parking light and a turn signal wire, and also ground. And if the owner doesn't feel comfortable doing that, you can easily bring it to a car audio shop or any other place that specializes in 12-volt electronics, and that'll be a super breeze for them to install. I've been talking this entire video, but what I probably should have been doing is showcasing the lighting products while they were actually on. But here we are with our new and improved LED strips. As you can see, they're just insanely bright. They don't require that diffuser to distribute the light because it's a whole string of forward-facing LEDs, and so it floods it out and it looks absolutely stunning. So here we are in amber mode. Presumably this wire would be tapped into the turn signal circuit, so this would be blinking, but I've just got it on solid stable amber so you can see how bright it is. It is just slightly dimmer than that super bright white output, and you can start to see those fluted diffusers, but in person it is just an absolutely beautifully evenly distributed nice amber light. This is going to look phenomenal. It's also going to match those GTR bulbs absolutely perfectly. And here we are with the actual headlight output on now. As you can see, it's just absolutely beautifully bright, but again, we are running a 50-watt HID setup on aftermarket bulbs and ballasts, so we have a really nice control controlled pure white output. This is gonna be our new beam output pattern. It's still fairly fuzzy because we're running it through the factory lens, and that lens is a little bit dimpled on the backside. I was hoping that I could do a clear lens swap. However, I think it's the black series is the 2.5-inch one. The focal length of that was off by about 2 millimeter. And when I tried swapping it out, it absolutely did not work. So you cannot do a clear lens swap on these products, unfortunately. So you get that slightly softer cutoff line, which is still totally fine because, especially like I said, we're gonna have a much brighter output. And as long as that brightness is controlled, we're happy. And one last thing that of course needs to be mentioned about this headlight set, this is a completely brand new outer shell. That was something that I stated on my last video, was that I wasn't willing to open these unless I was replacing the lenses. And these are his original lenses. So if you can see right there, they are very yellowed and cracked and crazed. And so these were definitely aged and needed to be replaced. And basically the only way that I'm willing to do these headlights is if I can actually cut this apart like so, and then I grind out all of the permaseal and the leftover acrylic in those channels. What that allows me to do is have a very clean channel here with very minimal damage. As you can see, that's pretty much all of the amount of damage that we're looking at. And there's absolutely no way that you'd be able to get that minimal of damage with the old-fashioned traditional pry and cry method, which is basically the only way that I do housings, because I do not cut open housing assemblies because that makes them non-serviceable. Simple things like the transference of this guy right here, this big rubber gasket, in order to remove that from the original lens and slap it onto this new lens, that does take almost an hour for both sides because you have to take it off the old shell, remove all of the adhesive, apply new adhesive and adhesion promoter, and then transfer it over and onto that. And that takes about half hour per side. And that's something that I forgot to charge for because I forgot there was that gasket. And that's another way that other people who are charging less money, that's a step that they're simply gonna skip. But if you care about your car and you care about little details like that, like having the original parts that are designed and engineered to be on your assembly, then that is why people hire me, because I don't cut corners. So that's my first Spec-V build that I did. I'm really pleased with the outcome. The performance lighting is there, but mostly it's a huge aesthetic upgrade package. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these look on his vehicle. I think he's gonna be super pleased with the output, and that's pretty much all I gotta say on this one. Pricing and product information for this particular build will be in the video description, so if you are interested in a build for yourself, be sure to start your journey there and check that out. All builds are custom made to order, so your pricing will vary depending on the features that you choose and select. All build inquiries must be directed to the form on my website. The link to that website will also be in the video description. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this creation as much as I enjoyed making it. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. I will talk to you later, guys. See ya.